Try that again. Well, there's an honest practice. We usually do what it sounds like. Lots of mistakes, but just trying to work out something that I used to play a lot, a long time ago. And I'm probably going to throw it back in the mix here this coming Tuesday night. You know, we have one more rehearsal, and then we'll work out the little details. But yeah, just little ideas, you know, I mean, just trying to figure out little different things. Remember things I used to do when I played that song. I can't sing it too well, so I don't. And it's just like I do it like an instrumental, kind of take a little pieces from Stevie Ray's version. Because it works instrumentally, you know. And then incorporate the Hendrix stuff as much as I can. Yeah, I never took the time to learn it note for note, and I really don't care to. It's more of an expressive interpretation, I guess. Um, I think learning it note for note, learning it the exact way is kind of boring. And I try to incorporate a couple of little voices that, that work, according to me. So, according to my ear. And that's what everybody should do anyway. It was a little rusty and sloppy, but like I said, it's just an honest, early Saturday morning, climb out of bed, throw your sweatpants on, grab your guitar, and start fooling around, right? So that's what that was. Haven't even had my coffee yet, and don't know if I will. I'm not a big coffee drinker. When I'm at work, I tend to have a couple cups, but I've been drinking this mushroom coffee lately, and don't know if there's any upside, any real benefit other than the taste. It tastes pretty good. So that's why I drink it. Just got sick of the other coffee, just always tastes the same. This always tastes a little different. I can make it differently. I mix 2 different types of mushroom coffees together, add some honey, a little bit of cream, sometimes no cream. You know what I mean? I mix it up. I even thought about adding some cinnamon, which I might try. It's Saturday, January 11th, I think. I don't pay attention to the numbers anymore. But anyway, unless I have a date or a gig or something. So let's figure it out. Yeah, today's the 11th, right? Yes. So, we got these fires raging through Southern California, which is, they're about 500 miles south, 450 miles maybe south of me. And I don't know, I think there's some arson involved. I mean, but those winds are crazy, man. They have down there 80 miles an hour winds, and I've seen some crazy video footage of that shit going on down there. It's like 11 people dead already from these fires, as of today. So my heart goes out to those people who have suffered losses, like of life and other losses, animals and their homes, their belongings and stuff. Who knows if insurance is going to be able to even cover some of that stuff, I mean, if they can afford to. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what type of federal relief will be set up, and then there's the blame game, right? I mean, everyone's throwing rocks back and forth about this thing. It's the governor's fault, and it's the mayor of LA. And it's like, it's the governor's fault that a fire started. It's the governor's fault that they ran out of water. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not sticking up for the governor, But everybody wants to blame somebody for something, Something goes wrong, and man, everybody wants to point the finger. Hey, it's their fault. It's your fault, which is just, stop it already. Stop with the fucking blame, Let's worry about fixing the fucking issue, putting out the fires and what can be done to prevent it from happening again. And I don't know, maybe that's where the blame comes in, because they're saying that there weren't enough provisions made to prevent this type of catastrophe, Hey, big fires and shit like that are unpredictable. You don't know what kind of damage they're going to do. You don't know how bad it's going to get out of hand. And then you don't know what other kind of retards are running around starting fires, And I hate to use the term retard. Some people take it wrong, But people who do shit like that, start fires, arsonists, they're fucking retards, okay? I don't mean people with Down syndrome. I don't mean people with, other mental issues they're born with or whatever. Those those people aren't retards, you know. Retarded people are people with the sense to know better, but don't. Okay, that's the difference, okay, in my opinion. So, there's that. Another thing I've been really getting into this guitar. I like it. I like the way it sounds, electrically plugged in, acoustically too. I got a kind of an E string buzz. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. It's like this weird little thing. I think it's coming from the bridge, because it happens when I fret a note, but not as much as it does when it's open. But it's minor. I'll figure it out. Maybe, no, I won't do that. Maybe I'll change string sizes. No, I won't do that. I've been using a medium pick lately, and by suggestion, a couple guys online talking about it. And I mean, I used to use a really heavy pick, right? Like a 114, these purple Tortexes made by Dunlop. And they're great picks. They last forever. They have a pretty good grip to them. You know, all the Tortex picks, they come in various thicknesses, and every thickness is a different color. You know, there's blue, yellow, green, and my kid likes the yellow ones. But yeah, I find that there's a different sound, tone. So that's the extra heavy, and then this is a medium. You can hear the difference. Subtle. But what I've been doing is, by suggestion also, is not using the, the long part, the point of the pick. I've been kind of rolling the shoulder of it, using the shoulder of the pick. And that really makes a big difference in sound, because you get more surface of the pick on the string. Kind of gives it a softer tone, warmer sounding. And I switched to regular, like the Fender heavies or Gibson heavies. I was using these Pearloid Gibson picks, heavies, with the same shape, this 351 Fender shape, use standard guitar pick shape. And I noticed, like, especially with playing chords, using that shoulder of the pick, getting more surface area on the strings, it makes it sound a little fatter, and the only thing is you got to get used to the feel of it in your fingers that way. After holding a pick, this way for so long, with the pointy part, with the pointy part down, it's just, you get used to that feeling, right? So now I got to get used to it rolled 90 degrees, and I'm getting there. It's not easy. It's not instant, right? I mean, you automatically you tend to want to rotate it to the way you're used to it. But now I find myself rotating it back to this new position. And if you're going to use your fingers, what I like to do is hide the pick and just have this, you have this claw-looking thing. But the pick is there. It's in my hand. And if I need it, and when I don't, if I want to use my fingers, then need the pick, put it away, bring it back, put it away, bring it back, put it away. It's kind of it's quick to get used to that. Anyway, what I was getting at, I think it's easier if you use the shoulder of the pick to put it away, and just, I don't have to rotate it back to that pointy part. It's already in my hand that way. I just kind of, bingo, zinga, binga, dinga, there's the pick. You know what I mean? Wachinga, binga, zinga, no problems. Yeah, so I'm really getting into this guitar. It'll probably be my go-to main guitar for a while. It's an inexpensive Telecaster. Probably around $1,500 or so. But if it gets damaged or dented or dinged, it wouldn't be that heartbreaking. But guitars, that happens to guitars. They fall over. They get bumped into. Other guitars run into them. They get stolen. I'd be kind of bummed if this one got stolen because I'd have to try to find one like this, and it's not that it's a rare guitar, but it's one that I assembled, out of using various parts. Excuse me, Fender parts. I got this pickguard. I don't know. It was made in China, believe it or not, and it's accurately fits the guitar. Single ply, thin aluminum, anodized black. And I used black screws to hold it down so that you wouldn't be able to see. I thought that would look cool because instead of having silver or nickel screws showing, there's 8 of them. And I know you can't see them, right? Because I can't. I don't have my glasses on either, but the guitar sounds good, acoustically. And it's got this big fat neck. You've heard me talk about it. I really love the thing, So finding another guitar like this, yeah, I could probably build another one. But do I want to take the time, staking pain to go through it again? Waiting on this, waiting on that, soldering. One thing I do want to try though is, because I'm used to a Stratocaster on a Tele, this three-way selector, is really close to the volume knob. And when you have it in the bridge position, if you go to switch it to the neck or the middle, sometimes you run into the volume knob, right? And it changes everything. So I've seen cats flip this thing around, right? So now where your tone knob is now your volume, but it's over here. So your volume knob would be closer towards, the pickguard here, and your switch would be back here. I'm sorry, back here on the back side. So that's kind of a cool thing, but I'm more of a traditionalist. Do I want to keep it like the way a lot of guys play? I haven't seen like a real serious hardcore Tele picker do that. And they don't have a problem switching. And they switch a lot. A lot of cats do to get the different tones. So, I'm kind of up in the air about that. There's also this other trick where you could turn your 2 pickups into a humbucker with a 4-position switch, right? You just have to rewire the guitar a little bit, where all the way down, all the way back. I call this down, but some people call it back. And this is the back of the guitar, so I guess you call it back, but I call it down. This is up. This is down. This is back. This is front. You get the drift. But anyway, so all the way back would be your bridge pickup. And then in the second position, which would be like the middle position, you get both, right? In parallel. Then if you go to the third position, you would get the neck and the bridge pickup in series, which would become hum canceling and turns into a humbucker, right? And then all the way forward is just the neck pickup by itself. Now, there's other wiring that I've seen other people do where this would be your humbucking position. But I prefer it the way this one guy was selling his, where the third position is your humbucking position. It's more of an of an intentional position. If you want that sound, you have to really make sure you're in that position. If you're playing fast and you just want to go right to the neck pickup, you're not going to sit there, especially in between like a tight chord spacing or whatever the song is. You know, most guys are flicking it like back and forth. When you go to the middle, it's definitely an intended position, right? You don't, you know, you try to go there. You try to go to the middle. But when you're going to the bridge, boom, you just bang it. You go to the neck, you just bang it. It's like super easy. You can do it with this, back and forth. So that's why I like the other setup this other guy was selling. So you get the bridge when it's all the way back. In the next second position would be both of these like a standard middle position on the Tele. When you go to that third position, it's the intended humbucking position. And then when you go all the way forward, it's just your straight bridge. That's the setup I'm going to try next, I believe. And it's like $100 for the pre-wired little circuit. I think it's pre-wired. Yeah. All you got to do is change one of the wires on the neck pickup. I think it's the ground wire or whatever. But anyway, that's going to be something I experiment with, and I'll probably do a video about that and show that. I'll probably do it in this guitar first, because I think this guitar will be the one that I gig with, I got other guitars I'll probably record with, but yeah. Anyway, that's the thing. Tones, positions. I'm waiting for. I had a speaker reconed. I bought a Scumbag speaker. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. Scumbag speakers. Jim in Arizona. This guy who builds speakers, and he spent a lot of time researching and buying up all the pre-Rolla Celestians and the G12Hs from back in the day, and studied them and compared them to other speakers and found out why these things sound the way they do. The cones, it's the cones, right? So he's developed a cone that replicates those old vintage Celestian cones. And he builds a speaker called a Scumbag. And you can get those Scumbag speakers in various magnet weights, frequency responses. Like you can get a 55 hertz, which is what I got one coming, a 35 ounce, 55 hertz, 8 ohm, 65 watt, 12-inch speaker that I'm going to put in my Pro Reverb. I bought a 67 Pro Reverb, and right now the chassis, the amp is on the bench, getting checked out and thoroughly gone through by my amp guy, who's already changed a couple capacitors I could see when I saw it. He's still kind of trying to work out some little weird things that it's doing and making sure we got the right volt output wattage. He says we have plenty of primary voltage, 400 and plus, 450 plus DC volts. So that's a good sign. Secondary side would be the output for the speakers, and we want to make sure we have close to 40 watts there. So it's a 40 watt amp. So anyway, I got that Scumbag speaker for one. It's a 212 amp. If you're not familiar with the Pro Reverb blackface or silverface, Pro Reverb has 212s in it, like a mini twin reverb, right? Well, without the weight and without the crazy loud volume. And those things are heavy to carry around, man. This one's manageable. But I do have a 55 ounce magnet Celestian, an original old I think it's a Rolla made Celestian that needed a recone. It worked. The speaker the speaker cone got ripped. Somebody welded it back together with some glue, and then, it still worked. And a friend of mine, Lee, gave me that speaker. He gave me a couple Celestians. He goes, you could have one of these, figure out which one you want. So I had an extension cabinet, and I was swapping speakers, plugging it into my deluxe reverb, unplugging the speaker that came in the amp itself, and just using this extension cabinet with these speakers that I was putting back and forth till I found out which one I wanted. And I chose this old one. Unbeknownst to me, like how old it was, I totally just went off of sound. I had the big heavyweight magnet, and it seemed to have a little bit more bottom end, and I thought it sounded really warm sound. It really made the amp sound nice and fat and full. So for years, he gave me the speaker like 25 years ago, and I used it for a while in an extension cabinet. I stopped using the extension cabinet and took the speaker out, sold the cabinet, kept the speaker with my intention on getting it reconed. So I finally did. When I got my Scumbag speaker from Jim, from Scumbag Speakers, I sent my Celestian back so he can recone it using his fantastic cones. And he's going to up the wattage from 30 watts. It was a G12H, 8 ohm. He's going to upgrade the voice coil to 65 watts. Because I bought a couple of Heritage G12Hs from Celestian. They're real expensive. At the time, I bought them. They were $250 a piece. I bought 2 of them, and I had 2 deluxes I was using. I smoked those speakers at a gig. I mean, the amps just gave out. The speakers were burned up. Not completely, but they were on their way out, and I stopped, and I had to end up going direct to finish the gig. It was towards the end of the night anyway. So anyway, that's getting reconed. That's going to go in the Pro Reverb when it comes back. And I have a cream back G12H I'm going to put in there to run with the Scumbag till I get my recone back. And I'm going on and on and on and on. Excuse me. Still trying to get rid of this shit in my chest, man. I don't know what the hell it is. Everyone's sick around here, man. I mean, all over the place. Everyone I know know about sick friends canceling parties because they're sick. Other people missing work because they're sick. I mean, there's a cold bug going around. My wife is sick. Anyway, that's it. That's it for now. Stay safe out there. Play your guitar. Annoy your neighbors. And if you're down south, I hope you're staying safe, staying away from the fires. Hope you got shelter. All that good stuff. Have a good weekend. Talk to you soon.